So when your favorite author comes out with a new book, you buy it, you read it, and you want to talk about it. So today I'd like to talk about Billy Summers by Stephen King and give you a spoiler-free review. Before I do that, don't forget to hit like and subscribe and drop me a comment below if you like this video. And if you've read Billy Summers, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this book. So I'm going to keep this spoiler-free. I will break it down by plot, character, and setting, and then at the end I'll talk about King's writing style in this book, as well as some of the criticisms I have, and then just my overall thoughts on this book, including the elephant in the room for a Stephen King book. How was the ending? So I'm next to my Stephen King shelf. I think this is the 70th work that I've read by King, and it's a good one. So let's talk about plot first. What is Billy Summers all about? So Billy Summers is the title character, and this is a work of crime fiction. This is not something that is in Stephen King's multiverse, although there's one little Easter egg in there. It's not a book with supernatural or magical realism in it. It is just a straightforward crime story. So, Billy Summers, our title character, is a decorated war hero who, after his time in the military, uses his sniper skills to become a hired killer. However, he's a killer with a code. He will only kill really bad people. He won't take the job if it's to kill a good person. So this book is about Billy's last job. He's taking that one last job before he retires from the life of being a professional killer. So if that sounds very cliche or very tropey, it's intentional. And King embraces it. I think if you're not going to subvert the tropes, which he doesn't, embrace them. So you have this cliched killer, but he's a good guy, he only kills bad people. And the big cliche of the criminal on their very last job. And in the book, King plays up that second trope of the criminal on their last job. And you hear that in Billy Summers' own inner thoughts, in his inner monologue in the book, where he realizes that every time you see in a book or a movie that you have a character that they're doing their last criminal job, it never goes right. So he just kind of thinks something's going to go wrong. The first half of the book is that last job that Billy is going to do before he retires from the life, and the second half of the book is the aftermath, the fallout from that act. And that's all I'm going to give you. I don't want to do anything that's going to spoil it. Again, this is a spoiler-free review, but that is the basic plot of the story. So let's talk about character. So, in most crime stories, character takes a backseat to plot. So I don't know if King was deliberately giving a subpar effort in regards to character in this book because that's what the genre usually does, or if it just happened that way. I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he was writing towards the genre because Billy Summers is fully fleshed out. A couple of the secondary characters are fully fleshed out, but a lot of the characters are very generic. But that is kind of a staple of this plot-driven type of story. I mean, to contrast with another author that I enjoy, Lee Child, you read a Jack Reacher book, you get a lot of Jack, you know Jack really well, and all the other characters are kind of superfluous and they're, a lot of times two-dimensional and not very deep. There's a bit of that in Billy Summers. So that's actually a disappointment for me, even though it might be more accurate towards the genre. But Billy himself is a very compelling character, especially throughout the book as he starts to question, his own life, even though he has this moral code as this killer that only kill bad people. Always wondering, am I a good person? Am I not a good person? So there is a lot of depth to Billy's character. I'd like to talk next about setting and atmosphere because that's something King does so well and he knocks it out of the park in this book. If you've ever read King, you know that he is fantastic at portraying small towns and he does this so well. I think Richard Russo is the only other author I've ever read that can compete with King in his ability to just paint a picture of small town America. Now, most of King's stories are set in two different small towns in Maine, but this one's set in the South, but it still has all the great features, and he just paints a great atmosphere, and it just feels so real, just the town itself, that encompasses the first half of this book, as well as the people within it. So the setting is fantastic, and even the second half of the story, without giving spoilers, you can guess that he won't be in the small town for the entire book. the other settings that appear, the different locales, feel very real to me as well. So King did a very masterful job. So we did plot, character, and setting. Let's talk about writing style, because this one surprised me a little bit. About a third of the way through the book, I realized that King's writing style felt different from a lot of his other books. And I realized he had kind of adjusted his writing style for the style of the book, which is kind of mind-blowing when you think about it. As someone who does just a tiny bit of writing myself, I find it troubling just to get my own style consistent. And he's able to alter his style for the book. And then he takes it another step further. In this book, there's a subplot of Billy writing his backstory. And you see through the pages how not only is it a different writer, but it evolves. So there's just a lot of skill here. It really shows how well versed King is as a writer, that he can put so much in there, and none of it really felt like typical Stephen King prose. So just tip of the hat to that. So overall, I enjoyed Billy Summers. I gave it a solid 4 out of 5, which means I really liked it. And I think that if you like crime fiction, you'll probably enjoy this book. So if you have read Billy Summers, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. So drop me a comment below. As always, if you like this video, please give me a like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe to the channel as well. I put out about 3 videos a month. Additionally, follow me on Twitter. I do 1-sentence book reviews for every book that I read. I just finished number 75 on the year last night. And on Goodreads, one thing I like about Goodreads is I like seeing what you're reading. So go ahead and add me there as well. As always, thank you for watching. Until next time, goodbye.